probably something you're going to come across. Twitter will probably not let you use the same phone number for multiple accounts at the same time. That's also the reason why I use a Google Voice number to do bots, is because I have two-factor authentication constantly set up on my own personal Twitter account, so that, just as an extra layer of protection. So I can't reuse that number then to to send activation codes to for my bots. So one thing we have to do before we get started here, and I have to find another probably thing to log into. I'll get another private window up in Google here. All right, and we'll just log in. We have to log in again because I forgot to do this in the settings to begin with. Logged in as the UDHR bot. And the password is saved in my KeyPass. Okay, so here in Twitter settings, there are a couple interesting things that we're going to want to look at here. And the first one is mobile. So this is where your mobile number is actually kept, and you can set up mobile notifications, but really just what we want to do here is delete my phone. That will make the number available again for any other account we create. And then email notifications. Twitter by default will enable every single type of notification for you. These last two headings, activity from your network and updates from Twitter, are annoying and useless, and you really should uncheck all of them because they are completely irrelevant to your bot. So take those all out, and then the rest of these are when other people or accounts interact with your bot. So I like to keep them generally checked, just so that I know what's going on and whether people are enjoying it or whatever. Having a a finger on the pulse, I guess, would be the right word for it. Is something I enjoy. Definitely not every bot maker likes to have this, especially if the bots are very popular. You can decide for yourself if you like it. I recommend when you're starting out, definitely keep the email notifications open, but not these last parts. All right, so save these changes. And okay, so we're saved, and now I'll close this to get logged out of the UDHR account. We can go back now to the next bot. So set up for hamburger today, and we'll set up the same phone number. Oh, I actually want to do an email first. All right, and then we'll generate a new password. At KeyPass, start something new. Okay, and then yeah, username, password, generate with some generation stuff. Okay, do that, save that, copy that, and there's your password. Yeah. By the way, I just want to comment on the last chat channel message where if you Google SSBot, Zach Whalen, who has the post about that, is the actual author of that. And he's generally very responsive to questions you may have about how it works or whatever. And it's been very helpful to me to have Zach available as a resource. So yeah, definitely if you are doing bot making with it still later and you experience things, send Zach a message. Also maybe give some feedback about SSBot pre-release and the fact that it doesn't seem to be working for me. I don't know what everybody else's experience has been, but I definitely should have checked it out a little bit. I should have edited it a little bit more yesterday. So apologies for that. So phone number goes in. Verification code goes to my Gmail. I have new ones. Is yes, I'm at, okay, 330138. Okay. Oh. All right. What was I going to do for this? Oh, I got it. We'll do bots burgers. All right. Also taken. Bot burgers. There we go. Go through the usual Twitter boilerplate that I always have found completely annoying. All right, now the account's getting set up. We're going to get the confirmation link before. Copy that. Go back to Twitter. Yes, in answer to your question, the bot that we were using before the pre-release is 0.4, which is also the one that the blog post has been, I think, either written or edited about, because I know that originally Zach had written about 0.3 and then either like completely edited the post or linked to the one and said 0.3 is really out of date. You need to use 0.4. But I had actually done a lot of work on getting 0.4 up to date to do to actually do something like every. So instead of, I actually had like hacked functionality into the select from column so it would actually read in order. And then I found out that 0.5 existed, and so I was like, all right, I'm just going to scrap my work and use that again. Is definitely a little bit of over optimism on my part. So once again, apologies for that. Anyway, we're back to having our hamburger bots, which we call bot burgers. And I'm just going to actually edit this because I don't like the name anymore. Hamburger today will now change its profile to be Hot Burger Bar. Okay. Bio is okay. So we have the account ready, and that's about all we need to do. Now, what's cool is what you're going to get when we go to Cheapbots Done Quick. And once again, do this from the same browser where you're setting up your Twitter account. You get a handy dandy sign in with Twitter button. This is actually going to kick off the addition of the Cheapbots Done Quick app to your new Twitter account. So you get the same authorized app that we saw in Unit 1 that you were actually getting to pop up yourself. This is just a priority to log in with. So now we go back to the app. So this is the Cheapbots Done Quick default page. And you can see that there's essentially just like one big text entry box where it's asking for tracery. And then you actually have like a box where you can tweet random text. You can put in your own text. You can actually like make something using the example. This little refresh button is just going to read the tracery and give you something in the box to work with. Then you actually get some some other options. How often you're going to tweet. This will eventually, once we're done with getting the bot set up, we'll move this from never to an actual time interval. And we're going to leave these as don't reply, and we can share if you want. I'm probably going to share my code. So now the cool thing is we actually see some idea of how tracery is working here. This is like a few segments into the example in the tracery tutorial. So we're going to just like dial it back a little bit. We're going to go to how to do tracery. And essentially, we'll start with some of the basic ideas here. So as we've talked about before, tracery is a JSON object, and those are delimited with curly braces. So you have left curly brace, and then a set of keys, which are the little strings to the left of the colon, and then there are values, which are the strings and what we'll see other things to the right. So when I talk about a key, I mean this part. When I talk about values, I mean this part. Okay, so every tracery grammar needs an origin key. The origin key essentially just gives you a a hello world in this example. And no matter how many times you generate it, there's only one alternative for it, and that's to see hello world. So this seems like not a very useful thing, except for the fact that you can actually break this up into multiple different things. And now we'll actually see the second thing that's happening here is you have hello noun. I was talking about before is that now you see these hash marks delimiting the word noun. What that means is that this is supposed to be a replacement. Finds anything with hash marks, looks at the word between them, or whatever string this is, and then looks for a key on the object again with the same string, and then takes whatever value you get out of it and actually substitutes this whole expression with the value of that. So you can see that this tracery, where it says hello hash mark noun hash mark, is hello galaxy. Pretty simple stuff if you're a programmer. I'm not actually sure how this comes across to the rest of you, but most of this is essentially just like the sort of substitutions you do in algebra, except we're not working with numbers. We are, in a sense, working with variables. So this is like a variable that gets replaced with a fixed value when you do the generation. Now, where this gets really interesting now is the next thing. I'm just going to skip over the third rule because that's really just more of the same. So if you have a rule, so a rule is essentially this key value pair in tracery, and the rule is, and the value of the rule is an array. So an array is it starts with a left square bracket like this, it ends with a right square bracket, and it has a number of things separated by commas. And these things are all going to be strings that you saw just like in the fixed string parts. So where it says noun here, in this example, noun is actually an array of 5 different things. And what's going to happen is tracery will pick one at random to put in there. So you see it says howdy world right now. So greeting is always howdy. And if no matter how many times we regenerate, you'll see howdy the same. But now you see that it's getting a random thing each time we regenerate. So sometimes solar system, sometimes world, sometimes local cluster. That's sorry, astronomy jokes. So we can use this to our advantage. If you want to make something interesting with a Twitter bot using tracery, generally what you're going to want to have is several different types of alternatives. Now the cool thing about this is, you can have multiple alternatives in different things. So you can have different greetings and different nouns. But when you get down to these parts, they can also have their own substitutions. And we're going to skip past the modifiers bit because you can use modifiers if you want. I'm probably not going to touch too much on them because they're not going to be relevant to my project. And I'm not sure how I can do this about a thing. So, okay, so we have that part. All right, so one cool thing, I think these are editable. Are they editable? Content editable? Nope, no, they're not. Okay, so let's take a look back at the Cheatbots Done Quick setup here. So you can do completely different, right? That's one of the possibilities for origin, because the origin rule now you see is actually 3 alternatives. So sometimes it comes up with this. What you may notice here is that completely different itself actually has one of the alternatives be something with a key in it, and that's totally fine. So completely different can actually have its own substitution rule that gets substituted in with the value out of alternatives by this. So the different paths that might flow through this is it could be the origin could be fixed, this could be tweet. It could actually be, this is a different tweet, or it could actually be like, or maybe something badger. But it's the something is pulled out of alternatives. So origin goes to completely different, maybe picks or maybe alternatives badger, sees that alternatives is a rule, goes to alternatives,